Chapter 4 of Healing Sex for CSA Survivors. This is a CSA healing book that goes into somatic healing in particular. I am on chapter 4. It is called self-denial, kind of using that to mean like denial of your desire, denial of your own pleasure. So kind of struggling with your own worthiness in the bedroom, struggling with self-pleasure, struggling with people-pleasing. Lots of different things can get wrapped up in this. I quickly wanted to mention, it's been a minute, like longer than usual, since my last video in this series, and that is because real life CSA healing is messy, and I've been doing very heavy work in therapy, which has meant I cannot read this as consistently as I maybe can other books. It's rare to see people really talk about their day-to-day experiences with CSA healing, so I just wanted to put that out there, that it feels like I'm inconsistent with it myself some, and it's because I'm coming at it from different ways. Like one way I'm working on it is by learning things in books. One way is through therapy sessions. I also do like physical things, working on this in a very practical, real life way. Sometimes I end up having panic attacks. Sometimes I have nightmares. I do what I can where I can, and it is not the model of consistency, and I think that's normal. So if you don't have the energy to listen to this, but you would like this information, you can always hit save, and you're not alone if this feels a little all over the place. Being sexually abused as a kid teaches you that your needs and desires are unimportant, and that your body and sexuality exist for someone else's use. Abuse tells you that your boundaries are wrong, or at least ineffectual. After childhood sexual abuse, many survivors are left feeling little to no permission to have desires, needs, or boundaries, or to take up space. As a survivor, you may find that you deny or minimize your sexuality altogether, or you may find that sex is all you think you are good for. Respectively, these are called sexual aversion and sexual compulsion. For those who are a little bit more on the denial side, you might find my videos I've done on the term sexual anorexia is used helpful. I read a book on that. Many therapeutic models still pathologize sexual aversion and compulsion as types of dysfunction. This framework says that something is wrong with you instead of seeing your sexual strategies as a creative means for survival. Whether you've leaned towards sexual avoidance or sexual compulsion, you've done whatever you needed to do to survive. These choices were intelligent at the time. They were survival smart. Congratulate yourself. Survivors often have a lot of self-judgment about their own sexuality. You may be angry at yourself for avoiding sex for so many years, or pissed about how many times you had sex when you needed something else instead. It can be hard to accept your own survival strategies. Recovery asks us to hold the contradiction of having acted in ways that have hurt us while we were attempting to achieve some kind of self-preservation. Whatever you did to survive sexual abuse, to be able to go on, is powerful. If avoiding sex helped you feel safe, that's okay. If you had sex when and with people you did not want to, that is okay. Nurture both self-compassion for your past choices and responsibility for taking care of yourself now. Many survivors attempt to manage the intensity of emotion, triggers, and memories that can come up during sex by avoiding sex altogether. You may be afraid that if you express your sexual energy, it will be too big or too overwhelming and will harm you or harm someone else. You may associate sex or being turned on with perpetration. You may associate your own sexual expression with being abusive. Some survivors are sexual but are not fully expressing their sexual energy that is truly theirs. This too becomes a type of sexual aversion, a denial of your sexuality. Finally, you may be sexual only with people you are not intimate with, finding it difficult to sustain a sexual relationship with someone you are very close to. You may feel that having sex with a confidant, a lover, or a partner is too dangerous. This concept in that sexual anorexia book was referred to as sexual bulimia. It's like a combination of anorexia and addiction or compulsion. What are you missing with sexual aversion? Staying away from erotic feelings, self-pleasure, and sex separates you from a powerful part of yourself. You lose a part of yourself that could feed vitality and energy into every aspect of your life. By avoiding sex, you lose a very deep means of connecting with yourself and others, not to mention the delight, joy, and fun that sex can bring you. Perhaps more important, in avoiding sex, you communicate to yourself that you can't handle it, that the sexual abuse is bigger than you, and that sex is too much or too overwhelming for you. Sexual aversion keeps sex locked in the danger, don't go in there closet, while the sexual abuse was overwhelming and destructive and did control you at the time. Your own sexuality and sexual expression are gifts that can help you heal now. Avoiding sex can feel like the best way to stay safe on a visceral level. Sex was what used to abuse you, so avoiding the weapon can seem like a great strategy. But by avoiding your sexuality, you can also trick yourself into thinking that you can avoid dealing with your history of sexual abuse. If you do not engage sexually, you may successfully avoid the triggers, flashbacks, and memories that sex can evoke, but you will have less and less room for yourself. The sexual abuse will continue to run the show. Your own sexual energy is not too big for you now. You can learn how to embrace the sensations, the excitement, and eventually the delight of your sexuality. You can also build a capacity to be able to process the triggers that may emerge as you open up your own sexuality. Yes, this is difficult, but if you are not making your own choices about your sexuality, then who is controlling it for you? Your sexuality did not cause anyone to harm you. The abuse was the responsibility of those who harmed you. Your sexuality, no matter what they told you, is not at fault for your having been sexually abused as a child. For sexual compulsion. I have heard many a survivor say that she was acting out when in fact she was expressing her self-defined sexuality. We have so few models for sexually empowered women that our sexual expression can be easily misinterpreted as sexual compulsion. As I talk about sexual compulsion, I am not referring to your fullest sexual expression. This is welcomed and encouraged. You may find that you are interested in sex more often than culture deems appropriate for women. Again, sexual healing is about creating a sexuality based upon your own needs and desires, a sexuality of your choosing. Sexual compulsion is a real lack of choice. It is the inability to say no, or to even know how to make a conscious decision regarding sexual choices. You may be so checked out of your body that you only realize after the fact that you did not want the sex that you just had. To truly consent, you need to be embodied and to know how to say yes, no, and maybe. Some survivors who struggle with sexual compulsion, sex becomes one of the only means by which they feel worthy or able to interact with another person. If you struggle with this, you may be having sex to fill needs that are not actually sexual, such as needs for physical contact, intimacy, and self-worth. You may be having sex because you are hungry or because you need to be held. You may not realize that these needs can be met in other ways or that you are worthy of having your needs met at all. Survivors of childhood sexual abuse can use sex as a way of avoiding feelings or of staying dissociated. In this way, sex is used as a distraction or a filler in an attempt to cope. Childhood sexual abuse destroys appropriate boundaries. Your physical, sexual, and emotional boundaries were shattered by abuse. To remain intact, some survivors attempt to live within their own destruction. You may be trying to work through your trauma by replaying it. This doesn't heal the abuse, and rather it keeps you stuck, doing the same thing over and over without finding a way out. The cost of compulsion. Perhaps the biggest cost of sexual compulsion is your own sexuality. While you may look like a sexually expressive woman, sexual compulsion is not an expression of your own sexuality. While you may convince yourself that you want the sex you are having, you are not really making choices based upon your own needs and boundaries. Sexual compulsion will run you. You don't run it. It's an old survival mechanism still at play. Another cost of sexual compulsion can be your self-esteem. When you have sex that you don't really want, you undermine yourself. You trust yourself less because you are not acting on your own behalf. This is exactly the behavior that you learned as a child. You are not bad for doing it, but it does not serve you any longer. Your physical health can be another cost of sexual compulsion. Finally, through sexual compulsion, you continue to have sex that is checked out, keeping you out of your body and your emotions. This keeps you out of sexual healing too. Healing self-denial. Start by exploring the ways that avoiding sex has served you. How has getting away from your sexuality protected or helped you? Next, explore what being sexual or turned on means to you. What do you associate with sex? Consider making a list entitled Sex Is or Sex Equals. Your responses do not need to be logical or make any sense. Just look at what is tied up in sex for you. Once you have made a list, try to determine which of these associations are inherent to sexual abuse and which of them are inherent to consensual sexual expression. Consider what would be the worst possible outcome if you move towards sex and your sexuality. What are you most afraid of? Then consider what would be the best possible outcome if you began to explore your own sexuality. Recovering from sexual compulsion. What can you gain by healing your sexual compulsion? You gain your own sexuality on your own terms for possibly the first time in your life. This means that you get to choose whether you want to be sexual, with who, when, where, and exactly what kind of sex you'd like to have. You can be fully in your body and be sexual. Healing compulsion also means you get to choose not to be sexual and still know that you are loved and you are worthy. You get to take care of yourself based on your own needs and desires instead of the needs and desires of another. Do you know how sexual compulsion has served you? What does this compulsion do for you? What painful emotions does the compulsion help you avoid? What does it help you not to face or not to feel? What needs are you trying to fill when you have sex? Which of these needs are actually sexual and which are not? Are there particular abuse experiences that set you up to act compulsively? What are you most afraid of in healing your sexual compulsion? What are you most looking forward to? You may feel terrified or ashamed when you say no to sex or a sexual boundary. Through recovery, you will learn how to feel the terror inside instead of distracting yourself from it. As you stay with the feelings and sensations, they will change, releasing the old trauma and letting you choose sex on terms that take care of you. While you are healing from sexual compulsion, you may want to consider taking some time off from sex altogether. You may choose to stop being sexual with others or to quit self-pleasuring. A break from sex could be a week, a month, or a year. Choose a length of time that is realistic for you. In this time out from sex, see what comes up for you. What feelings or memories emerge? Who are you beyond sex? Being celibate is a valid sexual choice. Celibacy can mean refraining from all overt sexual expression or being sexual with yourself while not having sex with any others. You can be celibate for a period of time or as a lifelong choice. My concern about celibacy for survivors is that it can be used to mask an avoidance of the pain and hurt of sexual abuse. If you are celibate because you don't know how to embrace your sexuality in a way that enhances and vitalizes your life, then celibacy is not a choice. When opting for celibacy, just make sure that it is really a choice. That's it for chapter 4. Remember, I have a section for this on my profile.